So this video is going to illustrate how to do regression in SPSS. Now, regression is one of the most powerful statistical tools at our fingertips. One of the reasons for this is because it tells us so much about the relationship between two variables. One of the things that it tells us is how we can predict values of our dependent variable based on the information or data that we have. Now, this video is going to really cover the mechanics or how regression works. That would take quite a while, so what we're going to really focus on here in this video is just how to use a regression in SPSS. When moving to SPSS, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be using the Global Terrorism Database project, and within this database we have information about terrorist attacks all across the world, and the hypothesis that we're going to test using a regression is as the number of years increases, the number of terrorist attacks also increases. Note, this is a directional hypothesis. We're hypothesizing direction here, and we're also implying magnitude. So this is something that a regression will be able to tell us. If I was going to extract the independent and dependent variable, or the cause and effect in this relationship, what I would say is that my independent variable would be the year, which is I year, and my dependent variable would be N kill, which is the number of fatalities in those terrorist attacks. So we can look up I year and N kill in SPSS when we go test this relationship. So the very first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to see how these variables look in frequencies. I'm going to go to Analyze, Descriptive Statistics, Frequencies. I'm going to find I year, which is the first variable in the data set, and click that over to my variable box. And then I'm also going to find N kill, click that over, hit statistics. I'm going to calculate the mean, the minimum, and the maximum. Again, my intention is only to see what these variables look like. First, we see I year ranges from 1970 to 2013. So we have terrorist attacks occurring in this data set as early as 1970, but as late as the year 2013. And the number of kills ranges from 0 kills in a terrorist attack to 1,381. The frequency values or frequency tables illustrate that we have interval ratio variables here, so these tables are quite big. At this point, we can move on to testing the regression. So we're going to go to Analyze, Regression, Linear to do the regression. This is pretty cool and straightforward because it asks you directly for your independent and dependent variable. I know I year is my independent variable, so I'm going to put that in the independent box. So this is the main independent variable, but if we wanted to include control variables in this regression, all we would do is we would move those control variables into this box. But since I'm only hypothesizing a relationship between an independent and a dependent variable and no control variables, I'm just going to leave I year there by itself. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to find N kill and put that in the dependent box because it's our dependent variable. Thus, we're done. The regression is ready to test. We click OK, and we get this output. For this class, we're only interested in a number of different values from this output. First is the R-square. So in this instance, in this relationship between year and N kill, the R-square value is 0.000. And then here below, we're interested in a number of different things. First, for our main independent variable I year, the unstandardized B or beta coefficient or slope is 0.005. The significance value attached to that main independent variable or slope is 0.054. Similarly, we can look at the constant, which is up here, and the constant is also known as the y-intercept. So the y-intercept in this case is -7.658.